Hey vlog, happy Sunday. Welcome back to the vlog. Alright. This is a very crucial week for me. I am finally starting a book that I've been talking about starting since literally February. And that is The Nightingale by Kristin. I'm really excited for this book. I'm also nervous because I don't know how bad it's going to emotionally affect me. Everyone that I have spoken to about this book, they all had the same reaction, like, oh, that book was devastating. Oh, okay. So yeah, I don't really know anything about this book, so let me just read the back of it for you. It says, with courage, grace, and powerful insight, best-selling author Kristin captures the epic panorama of World War II and illuminates an intimate part of history seldom seen, the Women's War. The Nightingale tells the stories of two sisters separated by years and experienced by ideals, passion, and circumstance, each embarking on her own dangerous path towards survival, love, and freedom in German-occupied, war-torn France. A heartbreakingly beautiful novel that celebrates the resilience of the human spirit and the durability of women. It is a novel for everyone, a novel for a lifetime. Girl, and there's that woman. She deserves to pay for my therapy, for real. I'm gonna get started with this. I'm just gonna start it. And I'll update you after the first couple chapters before I go to bed tonight. It is 7:33, so I'm gonna get like an hour or two in and see how far I get. Hi, my name is Lauren. I don't think I've been introducing myself in my past videos. I'm Lauren, nice to meet you. Okay, this week we are reading The Nightingale by Kristin, and I am really enjoying it. I'm listening to it as well as reading it, like I'm kind of going back and forth. So for The Nightingale, I read y'all the back cover last night, so I'm not gonna do that. Currently on chapter 8, and I'm really enjoying it. The audiobook is super good. I'm very picky when it comes to my narrators. Like if I do not like their voice, like I cannot finish it. Okay, I put on sunglasses because the sun is gleaming. All right, so The Nightingale. We have two sisters. Vivian is the older sister, and she is giving very much oldest daughter. Like she is responsible. She is trying to keep her sister in line. And unfortunately, when they were kids, Vivian did not treat Isabel very well. She was kind of mean to her and like ignored her. Whereas Isabel, she's the youngest sister, and she's definitely like, the youngest sibling is always the wild one usually. She definitely lived up to that. She's run away from school before. She's been kicked out of school several times. So Isabel was not born during World War I. She was actually born after World War I, so it was peacetime. Vivian's character, she is someone who remembered the war, the first war, and she also remembers how her father was before and post-war because he went to go fight in that war. When he came home, of course, he's got like shell shock, you know? He kind of just is a completely different person. After Isabel is born, their mother unfortunately passes away. And so it's just the two sisters and the dad, but the dad is still, you know, basically grieving from the war, I think, and it's just changed him as an individual, changed him as a person. So he actually goes and sends the girls away to like boarding schools, or I guess it's boarding schools, etiquette schools, because he, to be frank, does not want anything to do with the girls. Sorry if you can't hear me because of the trucks. During that time they're in school, Vivian, she meets a man named Antoine, I believe. And I want to say Vivian gets pregnant at like 16 or 17. Her and Anton get married when she's like 17 or 18. And they have a very happy, lovely life together. But, you know, again, Isabel is kind of left abandoned again. Like her sisters left her, father has sent her away, mother's gone. She just feels very abandoned by everyone who was supposed to love her and help care for her. She's definitely a jaded character. I love Isabel. As far as Isabel as a character, she's definitely, like I was saying earlier, like she's definitely like a wild child. She doesn't really like the idea of being a lady. Like, she's very much giving feminism. I don't think she minds the idea of being a wife or anything, but she is someone who is like, hey, if I want an orange, I'm just gonna eat an orange. Like, I'm not gonna eat an orange with a fork and a knife. Like, that's stupid. I'm really enjoying it. I am probably going to be, oh Lord. So yeah, I'm going to be reading some more of that this evening. This is how far I'm in. And this is just in like some Sunday night and today, because I've listened to the audiobook a little bit at work. So that's a good little piece, I think, for one day. I'm listening to it. I just read chapter 11 of The Nightingale. I'm sick. Why am I about to cry, low-key? Bro. And I don't want to spoil it, so like, just know. Dude. Bro, I almost spilled my drink. Hi guys, so I wanted to check in and give y'all a little update on where I am in the story, give some more background information, and I also want to explain what the book is about, because I think I can explain it a little bit better now that I'm further along in the story. The book is focused around two sisters. The oldest sister, her name is Vivienne, and the youngest name is Isabel. Isabel was around 4 years old, and I want to say Vivienne was probably around like 15 maybe. The book does mention that there's a kind of significant age gap between them, and so when they're these ages, their mother passes away. Their father, who was forever changed after he fought in World War I, simply refused to care for his daughters anymore. He was very grief-stricken, one, by the war, and two, that he lost his wife as well. So he had them sent away to a boarding school so that he didn't really have to deal with them anymore. So not only are Isabel and Vivienne dealing with the loss of their mother and grieving, now they're dealing with the loss and the willful abandonment by their dad, which is also horrible. Vivienne, although she is the oldest sister, wasn't really ready to step into the role as a mother. Obviously, she's still a child herself. Because of this, the girls kind of always have had some sort of resentment towards the other. And also, like, Vivienne, because she was the oldest sister, she didn't always treat Isabel super well either. That's kind of like the sibling bullying, basically. So at 16, Vivienne meets this boy, and his name is Antoine. When she's 16, she ends up getting pregnant, and then they get married when they're around 17, 18 years old. And I want to say Antoine is also a little bit older than Vivienne too. They get married. Vivienne's personality is definitely like eldest daughter in some ways. She understands and really enjoys her role as a wife and as a mother. She likes order and she loves following the rules. Even though she did get pregnant quite young, she likes rules and structure, and she's kind of happy and content in her life. I also definitely think that she deals with like some type of anxiety or something. Just the way her thoughts are written, it reminds me a little bit of that. Now, Isabel, she is a born troublemaker. She's run away from school tons of times. She is argumentative. She'll talk back. She's just definitely giving chaotic younger sister energy. She's always been very fiery. She's always been very free-spirited. She's the kid that is like always being like mischievous and getting into something, basically. Headstrong, prideful. I don't know, something about her personality is also very endearing as well too, because when we meet her officially in the book, she is 18, almost 19 years old. And of course, when you think back to when you were 18 or 19, like, you definitely feel invincible. When we meet her, she is being kicked out of like the third or fourth school and she has to go back home, basically. Her dad's not excited at all about that, and he's like, well, you're gonna have to go and work with me. So she ends up working with her dad at the bookstore, and once she's working back, Germany begins their occupation of France and Paris, where they kind of decimate the entire French army, essentially. They lose the borders of France, essentially. Her dad ends up sending her away to get out of the city of Paris, and he's telling her that she needs to go live with her sister where it's safer. And one of the quotes that I really liked, and it's on page, it's like, this isn't a spoiler, this is on page 39, and basically in this point of the story, this is like the second chapter, Germany has begun the air raids, and so they're bombing the city of Paris. They have to go and like hide, basically, and then once they come back up, this is a conversation that Isabel is having with her dad. She wanted her father to reach out for her, to take her hand and comfort her, even if it was just for a moment, but he turned away from her and headed up the dark, twisting basement stairs. In their apartment, Isabel went immediately to the window, peering past the shade to look for the Eiffel Tower. It was still there, rising above a wall of thick black smoke. "Don't stand by the windows," he said. She turned slowly. The only light in the room was from his torch, a sickly yellow thread in the dark. "Paris won't fall," she said. He said nothing, frowned. She wondered if he was thinking of the Great War and what he'd seen in the trenches. Perhaps his injury was hurting again, aching in sympathy with the sound of the falling bombs and hissing flames. "Go to bed, Isabel." "How can I possibly sleep at a time like this?" He sighed. "You will learn that a lot of things are possible." And I really liked that quote because you can definitely take it several different ways. Like, the talks of war were happening and Isabel was like, it's never going to happen. They've been saying that forever. And then it happened. You will learn that a lot of things are possible. How am I going to sleep like this? You will learn that a lot of things are possible. Are we going to survive this? You will learn that a lot of things are possible. So I feel like that's a really powerful quote. And I feel like that may be like one of the driving quotes that kind of flow for the rest of the book. So Isabel is extremely anti-German. She is extremely anti-Nazi. She does not at all love what is happening to her country, and she's actually really mad at the people for giving up so easily. So on her way to her sister's, by foot might I add, she ends up seeing parts of the real reality of war and what it can do to the human spirit. And she ends up sticking with a guy whose name is Gaetan. And I'm convinced that's just Timmy Chalamet. Like, the way he's described is so Timmy. But anyway, so they end up kind of helping each other and keeping each other safe on their journey to get to Isabel's sister's house. So right now in the book, there have been several months of the German occupation of France, and the sisters are fighting very frequently. Money's short, food is shorter, the girls are stressed, there's a lot of stuff happening. Of course, part of being in a war is if your country becomes occupied, then the new government that they're trying to force in, they can come into your city and say like, okay, all this stuff that you own is now contraband. So they're dealing with that. And of course, Isabel is, oh, she's stressing me out. Isabel is stressing me out. I think by definition at this point, she is becoming what would be considered a radical. And if you know anything about the Nazi regime, the gazpacho, like, they are strict, honey. So she's really not only playing with her own life, but she's playing with the life of her sister or young niece. So it's very stressful right now. But overall, I'm really enjoying the book. One thing I love about Kristin Hannah is that she really just knows how to write women's relationships. And of course, like, she is a woman, but the way she explains their thinking, the way that she writes the quiet moments, the small gestures, the unspoken looks, I think is something that she really excels in as a writer, and it makes the scene really come alive. And I'm really trying hard not to compare this to The Great Alone either, which was like a 5-6 star book for me. While these are two completely different stories, at the same time, they're the exact same because they are just about survival and resilience and being strong women, learning how to be cunning, learning how to be resourceful. Oh yeah, I'm really loving it right now. I'm in chapter 12, because I've been listening to. I'm in chapter 12, and things are getting tense. So I'm like an eighth in probably. I'm stressed though. I'm very stressed out. Because this is like literally life or death right now. That's my update of the book. Hopefully I explained what it's about a little bit better, and hopefully I explained our girls a little bit better. And yeah, that's all that I have currently. So right now it's Thursday, and that usually means my weekend starts tonight. So the goal is to get to 50, maybe even 65% by the end of the weekend so that I can start Project Hail Mary. But I really want to like savor this book. And I do want to go back through and annotate. I've been tracking a couple of the quotes that I like, but yeah, that's everything. I'll catch you in my next update. I come to you with a heavy heart this far along into the Nightingale. My audiobook says I have like 4 hours left. Yeah, I'm unwell. I don't even know how to explain what's happening right now, and I don't want to like give major spoilers. Things are progressing. Obviously the war is still raging on. The war is still brutal, and everything that you have learned about World War II and what happened to the majority of the people, Jewish people to be specific, the rounding up of Jews has begun. And so Vivian and Isabel are now grappling with the new reality that they are being forced to live in. And it is extremely heartbreaking. I did have a good cry. I'll insert that footage now. I'm not even that far in the book. Kristin, Hannah, you will pay for your crimes. It's like sad for a lot of reasons. Obviously, I know that these things like took place and they happened, right? Like we have so many eyewitness accounts of people who survived the Holocaust and World War II. You know, those people still exist. My great-grandfather was one of those people who fought in the Second World War. And, you know, I got to talk to him about a lot of different things that he experienced and saw. And I don't know, it's just very harrowing to read and know that this was real, and to also know that this history is actively being erased is frustrating. As far as the book and its writing, it's classic Kristin Hannah. I'm loving it. The relationship between mothers and daughters is, I think, her bread and butter. That's what she does the most. I do have a couple little annotations that I have in here, things that I marked that I liked, or like things that made me gasp. But yeah, Isabel, she's still being a boss babe, basically. I am really enjoying it. Hopefully this isn't a spoiler, but I'm gonna put a timestamp to where I stop talking about this so that you can avoid this if you don't want to spoil anything. And I'll give you a second. Okay, hi people who want a baby spoiler. Okay, Vivian has learned that her husband is alive still, but he unfortunately is a prisoner of war. He's not at a concentration camp, but he is a prisoner of war. Vivian was able to send a letter out to him, so he sent her this letter, and I think it's really beautiful. And there are a couple points in here that I'm like, this is really sweet. Also, let me address the lack of energy. It is midnight right now, and I've been reading the past few hours, the past like 4 hours or so, and I'm really sad that I have to stop reading it so I can go to sleep. But okay, so his letter reads, Van, my beloved, first, do not worry about me. I am safe and fed well enough. I am unhurt, truly, no bullet holes in me. In the barracks, I have been lucky enough to claim an upper bunk, and it gives me some privacy in a place of too many men. Through a small window, I can see the moon at night and the spires of Nuremberg. But it is the moon that makes me think of you. Our food is enough to sustain us. I have grown used to pellets of flour and small pieces of potato. When I get home, I look forward to your cooking. I dream of it. You and Sophie all the time. There is like a couple words in his letter that I think are really pretty. He says that You are my sunlight in the dark and the ground beneath my feet. Because of you, I can survive. I hope that you can find strength in me, that because of me, you will find a way to be strong. I just thought that was really sweet and like touching. And right now, I'm really proud of Isabel and her kind of character development as well. I think that she is super cool, and I think that she is growing up to be a special person in the war. Right now, she is able to use her gifts of her personality in the best ways that are going to be beneficial to what her original purpose, the original thing that she wanted to be able to do. I just don't want to say anymore because I'm going to start like giving a full plot rundown. Also, these are the little annotation tabs that I have. I got these off of Amazon, and there's like, I got like a giant pack of them, and I think that this matches the cover of this literally perfectly. Do you see the fingerprints that are on this book? That's embarrassing. So that is my book update. Sorry, it's kind of not great, but I'm really enjoying it. Things are getting crazy. Knowing what I know from history, I know that it's only going to get worse from here until it gets better, obviously, but they're right in the beginnings of things getting crazy. Also, there's been a flash forward to one of the sisters, that the same one that opened the book, and we don't really know which sister it is. And to be honest with you, I really don't know which sister it is. I have a feeling it could be Vianne, but I don't know. It could be Isabel too, because her sister, because Vianne is much older than Isabel. I don't know, but it's really interesting. We've only had one. The first chapter of the book is like present day, and then kind of towards like the 50% mark, it was another flash forward. So interested to see which sister it is. And it's possible that I missed the name and now I look dumb, but I don't think so. It's midnight. I'm kind of tired, to be honest, so I may actually not stay up super late like I have been doing the past 2 nights and actually go to sleep. I'll probably be able to finish this tomorrow, maybe, or maybe even Monday night. I don't know what else to say. Okay. Hi. Okay, so Nightingale update. I'm having conflicting emotions. Okay, so like right now, and I don't really know like if this is a spoiler, but we unfortunately have a morally gray character, and he's being so nice. Like he's being so sweet and caring, and part of me is like yes, I'm rooting for him, but also like what he's doing is disgusting and gross, but he also like feels bad for it, but like he's still doing it, but he also can't stop doing it because he'll get killed. So I don't really know how to feel. So yeah, I'm having some big emotions currently. I have like 3 hours of the book left, and there's so much that could happen. I think I had a, wait, hold on. I think a puzzle piece just clicked for me. Okay, I gotta go. This is me after finishing The Nightingale by Kristin. I can't even. Hi, I'm coming to you live from a random parking lot to tell you that I finished The Nightingale. I finished The Nightingale. Did I finish The Nightingale or did it finish me? Wow. I loved this book. Wow, my overall thoughts are, what even are my overall thoughts? This is definitely a 5-star book for me, without a doubt. That last little chunk right there is what's really gonna get you. I did tab some stuff that I liked. Not a whole lot. I'm still kind of new to the world of like annotating, but I mainly just tab things that I like or think are significant to the story, or things that I read I felt like or like, oh, or I'm crying, basically. I really, really loved it. This is, man, I don't even know how to describe this. Well, not only is this a novel that covers, you know, grief, survival, of course it's love. The underlining theme is love, and what you would do for your friends, what you would do for your family, what you would do for people just because it's the right thing to do. I mean, it has all of that. But what I really loved about this book is that, specifically because this was centered around World War II, the women and the resistance that stood up against Nazi Germany, I feel like those aren't really stories that we hear of a lot, and that is something that I really enjoyed about this book. Apparently, the inspiration for Vianne and Isabel in this novel were just from the people that Kristin Hannah talked to who survived this war, or they were the grandchildren of people who survived this war, and what women's role was in the war. What's nice about this book is there's like an interview with Kristin Hannah in it, but actually she talks about the first time she came across the idea for the Nightingale was when she was researching for World War II, like in Russia, and she read about a young girl, a Belgian woman, who created an escape line for downed airmen. She was very inspired by this young woman risking her life to help these random soldiers that she didn't know, and risking her life, but also the people she was saving, because what if somebody turns out to be a traitor? What if they're a fake downed soldier, you know? I'm not a mother, but one thing Kristin Hannah writes a lot about are mother-daughter relationships, sister relationships, and reading this, even though I'm not a mother, I could see myself making similar choices when it comes down to it. Like, am I going to, I don't know, it's just like that mindset where you get like, I will do anything for my children, and I mean anything for my children, and because their protection and their safety means more to my life. You know, if I have to die for my child to go on and survive, then I'm just gonna have to die. And I think that's very beautiful, and it's also very sad, but it's sad in a resolute way, if that makes any sense. I don't even know if I'm making sense to myself, to be honest with you. Overall, I really love the story. I do understand the hype of this book. It for sure devastated me. Very powerful, very tender in some ways, very heartfelt. This is also like a story of redemption, I think as well. Redemption is also another story arc in this, I believe. But yeah, I highly recommend checking out The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah. I really enjoyed the audiobook. So that is The Nightingale and some of my thoughts. I wish I could, it's hard for me to kind of sit and talk about a book, especially like right after I first read it, but Kristin Hannah always leaves me like speechless at the end of her novels. Like, I just feel like I'm on an emotional roller coaster, but I also want to talk about it because I don't want it to leave me. If I were to compare this to The Great Alone, I think personally I like, I think for me personally, I liked The Great Alone more. That was like a 6-star for me. This is still a 5-star book. Like, I still absolutely love this book. I could definitely see myself rereading it and picking up more of it. I'm definitely going to read the author's, the interview with Kristin Hannah in the back of it as well. I did leave some reviews on Goodnotes, Storygraph, on Fable, on Audible itself. I always have my book tracking apps listed down below, so definitely check it out if you want to see more written out reviews for me. I write a lot better than I can talk. But yeah, thank you so much for reading this book for me. If you read this, let me know how you liked it. I'd love to talk about it in the comments down below. So the next book I'm going to be vlogging is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Very excited for that, so make sure you come back and check that out. I think that's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you get notified every time I post a brand new video. And I'll see you next Sunday. Bye!